Stair Park is ready for a classic cup tie. The part-timers of Stranraer against the giants of Celtic, who shouldn't have a problem, should they? That's what they thought last year against Inverness Cally Thistle. A teacher, student, postman, taxi driver, bike shop owner, a chance for them all to be famous for 90 minutes at least, maybe forever. The manager, tax inspector Billy McLaren, has steered his side into second place in the second division. Goalkeeper Mark McGeown was on Celtic's books as a kid. Several of the team are Celtic fans. Whatever happens, the men of Stranraer FC are about to have the night of their lives.
Yeah, they certainly are, Ian. What Billy McLaren has done tonight, he's gone with the back three, 5 across the middle effectively. He's just going to match up with Celtic in every area of the pitch there, with Dougie Johnson spare between the two markers, right and Knox. Absolutely vital, I think, that Blair and Hodge in the two wide areas close the area down in terms of getting in about Agathe and Bobby Petta. There's not going to be much room down the channels or in the central area. Celtic, I think, will try and get out down the outside of either side, try to hit the byline. Hodge and Blair can do Stranraer a real turn if they get tight in them. Alan Jenkins will play between middle and front, and I just wonder whether Billy McLaren may push him right onto Neil Lennon tonight. So much of what Celtic build these days goes through Neil Lennon. I just wonder if Jenkins will go all the way tight on him.
Well, incredibly, only one of this Celtic starting lineup began on that ill-fated night against Inverness Cally Thistle a year ago. That was Tom Boyd. He's preferred to Johan Mjallby, who's suffering from a groin problem. Mjallby is on the bench, though, along with Paul Lambert, who's been out for nearly 3 months after an ankle operation. Stilian Petrov is on international duty with Bulgaria.
Yeah, Johan Mjallby sits this one out, and it means that Tom Boyd will come in tonight. Tom will play spare, which means that Ramon Vega, who has been playing spare for Celtic, will have to pick up on the right-hand side, as will Joos Valgaeren on the other side. Agathe and Petta, as I said, absolutely vital to Celtic tonight. I don't think they'll fancy this pitch. It's so narrow out there, there's not going to be a lot of room, but they're going to have to try and hit the byline at every opportunity. I'm not really surprised that Jackie McNamara has come in tonight. He gets the nod instead of Lubo Moravcik, and I think this is the kind of night where, particularly in that area, Celtic are going to require players to put their foot in.
Two clubs united by football but divided by status. They really are worlds apart, yet they've been brought together for a Scottish Cup contest that really does sum up what this famous competition is all about. It's Stranraer second in the second division against Celtic, runaway leaders of the Scottish Premier League. Well, there are a few Celtic fans in the Stranraer team. Indeed, Paul Walker watched the third round draw sitting at home in his Celtic shirt, and agonisingly he thought he'd be banned, having been sent off in the last round, but he was able to serve that suspension in the league. Keeper Mark McGeown was a Youth Cup winner with Celtic 14 years ago, so it's an extra special night for him. And all he's got to do is keep out Henrik Larsson. Mind you, the Super Swede has only scored 32 goals this season. He is in fact the only man in the 16 on duty tonight who's managed to score a Scottish Cup goal for Celtic. The man in charge is Stuart Dougal. Stair Park has a capacity of 5,500. They normally get around 600 here, but one or two more have turned up tonight. Stranraer on the southwest coast of Scotland, a couple of hours from Glasgow. The ferries go from here to Belfast and Larne, and if Celtic were to slip up tonight, catching the late ferry out of the country might not be such a bad idea. A classic clash between the minnows and the mighty. The people of Stranraer would have had dreams about tonight. Those of a Celtic persuasion might have had nightmares. A year ago, Celtic were the victims of one of British football's biggest ever giant killings, when Inverness Caledonian Thistle knocked them out of the Scottish Cup, and at Celtic Park too. This, though, is a very different Celtic side under Martin O'Neill. But on nights like this, three little words are often uttered. Those three little words are, you never know.
Yeah, exactly. I think what you will see in the first 10-15 minutes, Ian, which I think is going to be vital in this game, Stranraer will try and ask a few questions of Celtic, try and hassle them, make sure they don't have time, make sure they don't have space. Celtic, of course, haven't played a competitive match for a few weeks, and there might be a little bit of rust there. If that is the case, Billy McLaren's lads will try and exploit that.
With an early error, but it's covered for Stranraer by Fraser Wright. He works in the storeroom of a high street electrical retailer. The Stranraer squad holding down jobs and training a couple of nights a week. All bar two of them, in fact, are based in Glasgow, so that's where they train. Ramon Vega's cross and Larsson's header, and a super save from Mark McKeown, because that was very nearly the early goal Stranraer feared.
It's a good ball, and Larsson not marked properly though, and you have to say that, got plenty on the header. That is a terrific save from Mark McKeown, and typical of this goalkeeper, who at 5'11", perhaps just a bit too short to make it to the very highest level in the game, but reflex-wise, right out the top draw.
Petta sends it in towards the near post, and Vega was in there and booted it wide of the target.
Well, just to start, Martin O'Neill would have been looking for Ian. Celtic quickly out the blocks, and that really could have finished on the target there.
Martin O'Neill enjoyed a fair bit of cup success with Leicester City in the League Cup in England, winning it twice. He's on course for a treble in Scotland, although he won't like me mentioning that. Doesn't want to talk about it just yet. Most of the Stranraer players are based in Glasgow. They do train there at a rugby club on the south side of the city a couple of nights a week. The services there have been rock hard lately, not a problem Celtic had during their winter break in Florida. Larsson, Sutton, the front two combining. Here's Neil Lennon, who's played 5 games for Celtic and won them all. That's gone out. It'll be a Stranraer throw, and Leicester have missed him. But the pull of Celtic proved to be too much for the Northern Ireland international. It's come off Didier Agathe, who's playing in only his second Scottish Cup tie. The other one was for Rafe Rovers. Valgaeren, who really has been an inspirational figure for Celtic this season. Away by Johnston. Now Walker, who's a tidy little player. And Hodge unable to do much with that. Larsson, lovely flick to McNamara, who couldn't quite take it with him. Ramon Vega. Here's Alan Thompson, who was stretchered off in the week in a testimonial at Norwich. It'll be Petta, who used to play for Ipswich. Lennon. McNamara. Ramon Vega. It was wasted by the big Swiss defender.
I think it took a bobble in just as he was about to strike the ball there. But I heard Charlie saying earlier that Celtic may choose to get the ball forward quickly tonight, and it may not be a night for the short passing game. It may be a night for playing it from back to front, and Chris Sutton, of course, gives Celtic the option of doing that.
Stranraer spent the night in a nearby hotel. Oh, Douglas's kick out very nearly presented the second division side with a chance then. Cannoned off Walker. Larsson. Thompson. Petta making his Scottish Cup debut. He's got the free kick.
I see Keith Knox is round the back here, just giving a little bit of protection there. I don't think Stranraer want to leave players one-on-one with Celtic's two wide boys tonight. Certainly it's a free kick in a decent area for Celtic. Stranraer have no choice but to defend this right on top of Mark McGowan.
Sent in by Neil Lennon. Ramon Vega's on the end of it, and it lands on the roof of the net. It's not come off Vega though, because it's a corner kick.
Yeah, to be fair to the goalkeeper, I don't think he can come for this. It's whipped into the back post. He's just hoping the lads in front of him can do enough, and they do just enough there to put Vega off the header. Once again, the former Spurs defender got up well there.
Celtic seeking an early goal. Petta's cross, and again the goalkeeper is confident, really up for this, having played in Celtic's youth team and won the Youth Cup with them. McNamara. Petta, who stayed over this side, having taken the corner. Larsson has given it back to Bobby Petta. Oh, he's brought down, and Stuart Dougal had a big look at that and decided that Sandy Hodges' challenge was not worthy of a penalty. Sutton's cross though, and Stranraer were living dangerously then.
Yeah, certainly worrying. My first impression was that it was a penalty. No reason otherwise, I don't think, for Bobby Petta to go down there. Sandy Hodge just caught on the wrong side of Bobby Petta as he goes into the box here. There's not a great deal of contact, but I don't think Petta has any reason at all to go down there.
Jenkins finds his route blocked by Lennon, but will try and take another route. Tom Boyd is covering for Celtic. Keith Knox sliding it back to Mark McGowan. Lennon, completely miskicked it. Hearty chasing, but Ramon Vega slips it back to Robert Douglas. McNamara. Didier Agathe. Showing what he's all about. But it was Fraser Wright who stuck with him all the way. Jackie McNamara. Sutton comes to meet it. McNamara has continued running, but here's Agathe. Petta. Lennon. Sutton. Stray pass from him. Vega. Agathe. Petta trying to take it over. Larsson. And Sutton twisting and turning. Good intervention though. And Neil Lennon is forced to kick it back to Dougal. Here's Duncan George. A foul by Billy McDonald, who was involved in a famous spat with Paul Gascoigne when he was playing for Partick Thistle a few years ago. Got sent off for kicking out at Gaza after he nutmegged him, I think. Not too surprisingly, it's generally gone Celtic's way so far. And it drops for Henrik Larsson, but he didn't catch it clearly as he looks at the ground.
He had a bit of time and a bit of space, so Ian. Normally you'd expect Henrik Larsson to do better in this situation. Not picked up at all there. And he just didn't get it cleanly at all. But Celtic have started the game well, and there you see it. By far the more dominant of the two sides, and Martin O'Neill will be well pleased at that, because he certainly told me before the winter break he was slightly concerned as to whether Celtic would get back up to speed quickly.
This is Paul Blair, and he's got the throw. Blair actually played for Morton against Celtic in the Scottish Cup a few years ago, and now he's got a corner, and this could be interesting because the big boys will come up from the back and attempt to put some pressure on Robert Douglas.
Yeah, I think they have to make the most of set pieces, and I don't think they're going to have too many chances in open play, but a chance they have this kind of chance to throw a decent ball in under the crossbar, send the big lads up at the back. You never know, they might just get the payoff.
This really is their best hope. It's drifted away and retrieved by Walker, had to let it go for the throw. I don't think they'll be averse to the odd long throw or two either. Hodge takes it, as he did the corner. McDonald. Right. Keith Knox. Well, that was a poor effort, but the flag was up anyway. Been a good season in the league for Billy McLaren, who's quite a character. He was actually banned from the touchline earlier in the season after comments made last season to a linesman. He's a bit like that.
Oh, he's a fierce competitor, and he really was, certainly. We knew all about it when he played against Billy, and I think you know, the character of his side will reflect his own playing style.
Walker. Don't want to worry Stranraer, but Celtic have scored 18 goals in their last 4 games without conceding any. Ramon Vega. Shout from the keeper. He was player of the year last season. His kick out will come back towards him, but the flag up for offside against Larsson.
Well, I don't know if the assistant's in a position to call this one in, to be honest with you. Henrik Larsson just spins there. He certainly was in an offside position as the ball was played forward, trying to get back on.
Paul Walker, well, Hodge and Walker got in each other's way a little bit then, and exchanging a few words too.
Yeah, he sees Didier Agathe there back in his own byline. What a good defensive shift Agathe has done for Celtic this season.
It was a lovely touch, by the way, when Stranraer handed their team sheet in, so that Celtic had a look. They'd put their home addresses next to all their names, just in case Celtic wanted to get in touch and sign them. Tom Boyd won the chase for that and won the throw as well. No club has won the Scottish Cup more than Celtic, but 6 years have passed since their last success. They probably feel the time has come to get their hands on this particular piece of silverware again. Valgaeren. Petta waiting nearby in the shadows. Lennon. Boyd. Won't be straight down Sandy Hodges' throat. But here's Ramon Vega. Ooh, Vega was caught a little late then by Ian Harty. To be fair to him, he got up and got on with it. Harty now, oh, he's put Paul Walker away. What a chance for Walker. He's still in there. Oh, but it's saved by Robert Douglas.
Good break by Stranraer there. Valgaeren does well here, tucks round the back. Look at Valgaeren, left back position. Gets himself right across there and does just enough there to hold the little fella up, otherwise Celtic were in trouble.
Actually, well, it nearly came to Agathe, but Sandy Hodge did enough. 20-year-old student on a bit of a burst now, but he's rolled it out of play. Paul Walker, a huge Celtic fan, and glory was beckoning for him then. McNamara. Larsson. Hodge stopping the supply line to Agathe. Here's Billy McDonald, took it down well. Jenkins has to snap it back. George, that's gone straight out from Duncan George, who's one of their more experienced players. 33 now, owns his own bike shop. Lennon. Vega. Agathe. An early season sensation with Hibs, of course. Didier Agathe, having spent some time with Rafe Rovers previously. Celtic snapped him up for a very nominal fee. Hibs haven't missed him that much though. Dougie Johnston's clearance onto the head of Ramon Vega. Johnston is there again. Now McDonald looking to release Walker. Tom Boyle is with him. An important touch.
I see once again though in the mobility of Paul Walker down the left hand side. Both of these Stranraer players, quick feet, mobile. If they get enough service they'll ask a few questions of Celtic.
They get a free kick for Thompson pulling the shirt of Duncan George, in fact ripping the shirt of Duncan George. Too early to swap shirts. It's a free kick which will be taken by Johnston. Too high for Knox. Jenkins leaves it for George. McDonald. Stranraer do like to play football the way it should be played. The manager has strong philosophies on that front. And they'll be delighted really that they haven't conceded an early goal, because that's always the fear for the lower league sides when they come up against the Old Firm. Sometimes it can lead to goals galore. They also had a very good chance, of course, themselves.
Yeah, it was a good break down the left hand side. Valgaeren did well to come across here. Otherwise Walker was in on Rob Douglas. And that's the one thing that Joos Valgaeren gives Celtic. He is so quick, he gives them that little bit of insurance at the back.
Valgaeren actually was a cup winner last season in Holland with Roda. Jenkins putting himself about, but he didn't need to do so quite so much because he has the free kick anyway. Stranraer looking to give Celtic something to worry about, failing to do so that time, but hanging in there at the moment. Agathe. Jackie McNamara blocked Duncan George's clearance, and he can now get a new shirt, having had the other one ripped off. Didier Agathe. Henrik Larsson took a bit of a bobble that. And foul by Fraser Wright.
That's a daft one because Henrik Larsson was going nowhere there, and it gives Celtic a chance to throw a ball into the back post. Valgaeren's going forward, as has Vega.
Alan Thompson flicked on by Valgaeren. There could be a break on here for Blair. Petta tracking him. And Celtic's throw. last met in the Scottish Cup 13 years ago this week. Celtic edged it 1-0. McNamara got the goal, but it could have been so different. Stranraer's Bruce Clennon missed a penalty and a sitter late on. And then he immigrated to Australia the week after, not through shame, he had planned to go anyway. Hodge helps it on. Harty gives it back to George. McDonald's touch has actually let in Chris Sutton. Now Neil Lennon. Jackie McNamara. Agathe racing down the line, but far too much on it from McNamara. Don't think Martin was too impressed with that.
What he will know already, though, Ian, that Celtic are going to have to work for anything they get tonight. Stranraer have started with a good tempo here, and as you would expect from any side that plays for this man, they've competed for everything so far. They've hassled and they've harried.
McLaren works as a senior inspector for Her Majesty's taxes. I'm saying nothing. Here's Boyd. Donald. Back to Johnston. Ramon Vega. Away by Keith Knox. Alan Thompson has picked it up. Jenkins is down at the moment for Stranraer, but Celtic don't mind, they're on the attack. Jenkins just getting back to his feet there. I think that'll be a free kick for a foul by Toby Petta, despite his best innocent look. Can George take it out? Knox's free kick. Aimed towards Harty, cut out by Valgaeren. Stranraer still could give it a go here. Harty has done very, very well to lose Petta. Now here's Blair! And his cross dug out by Vega.
Ian Harty did ever so well down the right hand side there. Good footwork and a decent ball in as well. Good impression. Stranraer's confidence is starting to grow now, starting to enjoy this.
Fraser Wright blocked that, but Didier Agathe slid in. Now Larsson. Agathe. Oh, not a bad return. Vega. Lennon. Thompson. Up to Sutton. Thompson again. Fouled by McDonald. That's going to be the free kick. He's a fierce character, Billy McDonald.
Yeah, Alan Thompson. I think since Neil Lennon arrived at Celtic, and he's far more inclined now to go forward. Doesn't have to worry about looking over his shoulder and as to what he's leaving behind. And Celtic, I think, will get far more out of Alan Thompson now that Neil Lennon's around.
It's Lennon to whip this in, and Ramon Vega's on the end of it, and it's bundled in by Valgaeren, and Celtic go 1-0 up.
Once again, his aerial ability of Vega here, that proves costly for Stranraer. Once again, they don't have a choice here, they have to defend that deep. Great ball across the face of the goal by Vega, and Valgaeren brave enough to stick his head in where he knows it's going to get kicked here. And I think he does take a sore one. Good ball in. Vega at his very best at the back post.
Joos Valgaeren, so effective at the back for Celtic this season, and often quite effective up the front as well. That's his fourth of the season, the big Belgian. Stranraer were starting to get a foothold, really. They fall behind. Free kick will be taken by Ramon Vega. That one's going to drift behind though for a goal kick, and it had started to go quite well for Stranraer until this happened.
Yeah, they have to defend this on top of the goalkeeper, such as the position of the free kick. And Vega does well, but Valgaeren reacts quickly at the back post. He's already on his way, he sees Vega's going to win it, and his reaction was crucial there, getting himself into the back post area. I don't mind about the sore one he took, well worth it.
Lennon. Stranraer have really got to keep their concentration now. Petta. It's going to go behind for a Celtic corner. Maybe Petta really has rebelled under the management of Martin O'Neill. Didn't get much of a look in last season. From the corner, Henrik Larsson has flicked it, and it's gone just wide, but Stair Park held its breath then.
Yeah, just found half a yard there, Henrik Larsson, just steps off his marker there. Doesn't quite get enough on the shot. We can't afford to give Larsson any room at all in that kind of area.
Paul Walker chasing this, but Tom Boyd covering for Celtic. Oops, we've got two balls on now. Ironic really that Stranraer were gaining so much confidence in the period before Celtic scored. Larsson. McNamara's cross aimed towards Sutton but steered away by Knox. Lennon. Agathe. Ramon Vega, who can claim an assist with the goal. Henrik Larsson, always going wide that time though from the Swede, who has scored 32 times this season.
Yeah, Chris Sutton at his very best here. Look at the way he screens this. Cushioned layoff, sits up perfectly for Larsson. Can't find the target, but it's the Celtic strikers at their very best there.
Sutton and Larsson combining, but it was two defenders, Vega and Valgaeren, who combined for the goal that has given Celtic the lead here at Stair Park. The fourth round draw coming up later, right here, remember. Petta will get a free kick. Foul by Blair. Stranraer have had the stuffing knocked out of them a little bit. Neil Lennon's free kick, and Larsson on the end of it. I think it was a good take from Mark McGeehan.
Terrific ball in from Neil Lennon there. Whipped in there to a good area. Once again, Larsson found just half a yard there to get the header in.
Lennon. Sutton. Jenkins, who is one of only two players in the Stranraer squad actually based in the town. Keith Knox the other, Petta. And a foul by Knox is going to bring the first yellow card of the game shown to Keith Knox.
Yeah, Alan Thompson up on his feet quickly, ready to go on with the game there, but certainly taken well late there.
Looking for Knox, he has to tread carefully. A free kick for Celtic. Alan Thompson takes this one. Oh, a missed kick from Jenkins, and Ramon Vega trying to get in. Challenged by Wright though. Vega in the hunt for goals. Scored twice on his debut against Aberdeen, the former Tottenham man. Valgaeren, scorer of Celtic's goal. Keith Knox's clearance towards Blair, who did well. Now McDonald. Thompson. Henrik Larsson has scored 9 in his last 4 games. McNamara to Sutton. Oops. Lennon missed it, but Ramon Vega retrieved it. Boyd. Agathe. Johnston sends it back to his keeper. Vega. Celtic warmed up for this cup tie with a testimonial in the week at Norwich, which they won 4-2 after being 2-0 down. Testimonial for the Norwich physio Tim Shepherd, and apparently only 5,000 Celtic fans turned up for that one. Didier Agathe. Agathe centre. Oh, it's only gone as far as Henrik Larsson, who tees it up now for Jackie McNamara. Thompson. Petta. Petta finding no way past Paul Blair, and the throw-in has actually gone in Blair's favour too. Well, there's a feast of Scottish football for you this week. Next up, Tuesday at 7 on Sky Sports 1. Two of the teams who've been trying their best to keep up with the Old Firm, and even more than that, it's Kilmarnock against Hibs. And the flag is up for offside. McGeown's kick aimed towards Harty. Away by Valgaeren. Offside against Walker.
Yeah, Celtic shading in terms of possession, but you really get the impression that Celtic have the game by the throat now. They're dictating the tempo, so Stranraer really can't get on the ball at all.
Celtic actually seeking their 7th win on the spin. They've only conceded 2 goals in their last 7 matches. McNamara. Goal kick. So far, and it came after a really good spell for the second division side, who had a chance through this man Paul Walker, and when you get a chance against Celtic you do have to take it. They might get another chance here though. Just went the wrong side of Walker as Billy McDonald tried to return it. Alan Thompson. No Stilian Petrov for Celtic tonight. He's on international duty with Bulgaria. He's been one of their most consistent performers. This man's not been too bad, Larsson, although actually perhaps not up to his standards of previous seasons. Mind you, he has got 32 goals. Neil Lennon. Petta. And Thompson looking to return it to Petta. It was picked away by Duncan George. 10 minutes of the first half remaining. Celtic were allocated almost 3,000 tickets for this game. Needless to say, they were all used. Lennon whipped it in towards Sutton. Thompson. And he charged it down, but it'll be scooped up by Mark McGeown. Got that one, too, with Alan Thompson. Signed from Aston Villa. Duncan George crashed into Neil Lennon, who certainly had something to say about that.
Yeah, he's taken a sore one. Neil Lennon becoming more and more important to this Celtic side, the week. Came in, of course, in the absence of Paul Lambert, who was out injured, and he's given that back three tremendous amount of protection, and he allows the likes of Thompson and Stilian Petrov when he's around to get forward.
Agathe. Larsson. Free kick given against the Swede. Martin O'Neill really has done a fantastic job at Celtic, but he won't want to hear anything about that until he's won something. Jenkins. Agathe steps in. Celtic seeking their first Scottish Cup success since 1995, when Pierre Van Hooijdonk scored the only goal of the final against Airdrie. Just one Scottish Cup in 11 years, though. Not really very good for a club the size of Celtic. Valgaeren's goal separating the sides at Stair Park. Larsson looking to break away here, though. Didn't quite take the ball with him. Stranraer have got to try their best to come up with something here, but it's easier said than done when you're playing Celtic.
Yeah, they're still in it though, Ian. You know, 1-0. Anything can happen. The important thing was that they didn't lose a second. Looked a bit ragged for 5-10 minutes after they lost the first one, but they're still in it.
Confident kick from McGeown. Lennon, nice touch to McNamara. He couldn't quite match it. George is eventually stopped in his tracks, and Neil Lennon will mop up and send it back to Douglas. Thompson. Chris Sutton. Valgaeren. Petta. Paul Blair's challenge. He's doing his best not to make it too comfortable for Bobby Petta. Valgaeren's long throw will bounce behind for a goal kick. Valgaeren was watched by the Rangers manager Dick Advocaat as well, but he decided to go for the Continent, and the Belgian international Martin O'Neill saw at Euro 2000 ended up at Celtic, and he was just the sort of player they needed. Larsson to McNamara, and now Didier Agathe. Lennon will still get to that despite the presence of Jenkins. Here's Petta. Larsson dummied. Sutton giving it back to Henrik Larsson. This is neat from Celtic. McNamara's cross. Sutton in there. Surely a push from Chris Sutton. There was.
Goalkeeper did well, just made up his mind early to come all the way and did exactly that. Good construction from Celtic though through the midfield. Larsson as usual involved, and a decent diagonal in from Jackie McNamara. Mark McGeown made up his mind early and did well.
Sutton has been amongst the goals too lately. 4 in the last couple of games. Double each. Boyd. Hodges header. Jenkins. McDonald. Rather crowded out, but he's hanging in there. Lennon. Steered a path away from the tenacious McDonald. Thompson. I think that'll be a free kick for Blair's foul on Petta, which will bring a yellow card too for Paul Blair.
Yeah, Bobby Petta on as well here. Delightful ball in behind there by Alan Thompson. And Petta would certainly have hit the byline there, but for the challenge I don't think it can have any complaints.
Paul Blair joins Keith Knox in Stuart Dougal's notebook. Lennon's free kick! Oh, and it seemed to bounce off the bar. Larsson was on the end of it. Didier Agathe will get the free kick for a handball by Knox.
Yeah, I'm glad to see he wasn't booked in because I don't think that was intentional.
Well, Henrik Larsson hit the bar a moment ago. What can Celtic do with this? Thompson whipped it in, and Stranraer eventually ends up with their keeper.
Well, it could have been 2-0, and this is such a difficult ball to defend. Whipped in between the goalkeeper and the last defender. Larsson again quickest to react, and he'll feel he should have scored there. It's a great chance.
Agathe. Boyd. Well, many expected Rangers to go for goals galore against Brecon City at Ibrox yesterday, but it didn't happen. Just a 2-0 win for the holders. Just a 1-0 lead for Celtic at the moment. And that's actually not gone out. Mark McGeown left it and Sutton sends it in for Larsson. Don't quite know what McGeown was thinking of then. I think he obviously thought it was going to roll over, but it didn't. Thompson. And the flag is up for offside. Free kick for Stranraer.
Oh dear, oh dear. Well, to leave Mark McGeown there, and no wonder. Well, that stat tells its own story. Celtic well and truly in the driving seat. Martin O'Neill won a second though, Ian. He won a second.
We are in the last minute of the first half. This is Harty, top scorer for Stranraer this season with 13. But Didier Agathe brings it away for the Scottish Premier League leaders. Hang on though, because Hodge has snapped it through to Walker, but the flag is up for offside. Walker's going to run towards Boyd. Sutton. Did well there. Thompson. Petta. Blair. There will be just 1 minute of added on time in this first half, and we're in it now. Neil Lennon ready to take Celtic's throw. And Haran's header. Lennon chipping away. McNamara. Here's Vega. Henrik Larsson. He's got away from his man, and it was blocked by Johnston. And behind it goes for a corner.
Great spin by Henrik Larsson. Didier Johnson did well to react to it, get across to the front post.
Petta's corner. He has McNamara there with him. Stranraer will not want to concede again in the dying seconds of the first half, and they're not going to, because that is the end of the half. And Joos Valgaeren put himself in where it might have hurt, and it did hurt, to give Celtic the lead. Lennon's free kick, he's sent some great balls in today. Ramon Vega was on the end of it, and Valgaeren knocked it over the line, crashing through the pain barrier in the process. But don't give up on Stranraer just yet. Just the one goal in it at the break in the Scottish Cup. Well, better teams than Stranraer have failed to see off Celtic this season, because Martin O'Neill's men have in fact only lost 1 out of 26 domestic matches, and that was of course a 5-1 defeat at Rangers. Stranraer start the second half. They're certainly not out of it yet. But they are going to have to come up with something very special here to test Scotland's league leaders, who haven't conceded a goal in their last 4 matches.
Somehow they've just must try and get a bit more support up to the front too. Apart from Alan Jenkins, the other midfield players have been forced right back in front of their back three, and the front two have really become isolated.
Go on, Henrik! Go on, Henrik!
Celtic hoping to progress to the 4th round draw, which is coming up a little bit later right here. Boyd playing it safe. McDonald, and that will be pretty comfortable for Robert Douglas. Sutton, Didier Agathe. Valgaeren to Boyd. McNamara electing to send it back to Douglas. Henrik Larsson. Sutton gives it back to the Swedish international. Now here's Didier Agathe. Lennon. McNamara giving Agathe something to chase, and it ends up with a goal kick for Stranraer. Let's have some news from the touchline. David Tanner.
Yeah, I've just spoken into the Stranraer manager Billy McLaren. He's fairly happy with the way things progressed in the first half, so he's got no immediate plans to change the game plan at the start of the second half. Steady as she goes, he said, Ian.
Well, he'll be hoping his team can come up with something early in this second half. Duncan George. Harty. George up towards Walker. Skids off his head though, and Boyd again taking no chances. The safe option. Bounced off George though. It'll be a Celtic throw now. Stranraer second in Division 2. 10 points off the leaders Partick Thistle. Henrik Larsson. McNamara had advanced, but it's poked away by Dougie Johnston. McNamara again on the scene though. Agathe is nearby and will be used. Agathe trying to give Hodge a hard time. Sandy Hodge only joined in November from Queen of the South. Larsson making himself available. And Ramon Vega prods it in the direction of Petta, but it's over and out, and Keith Knox took a knock.
It looks as if he's in a bit of bother here, eh? Well, it's the right boot of Ramon Vega there that catches him. Well, that's a bad one. You see the bleeding there. I think Vega sees the challenge coming in here. He's trying to get out the way, but it's the studs of the right boot that caught Keith Knox there. Stay.
No concern for Keith Knox, who played in the last cup meeting between the teams in 1988 and was actually off the field getting treatment when Frank McAvenny scored the game's only goal. And as Charlie mentioned earlier, he played for Clyde against Rangers and missed a sitter with Clyde 1-0 up. And Rangers went on to romp it 4-1, but looks like the local Stranraer postman will be okay, although that's going to take some patching.
He's going to need stitched in. He's bleeding very heavily. They want him back, so a quick bit of stitching, they'll try and get him back on, but certainly looks a bad one.
They don't really have a central defender on the bench, so they'll be hoping that he will be okay to continue. Although they could rejig by using Jared Sterling. So Stranraer temporarily down to 10 men, with Keith Knox getting patched up. Here's Henrik Larsson, and Jackie McNamara could be in here, and he is! McNamara clinically claims Celtic's second early in the second half.
It's a terrific finish from Jackie McNamara. Gets himself forward in support here, well held up there by Henrik Larsson, waiting in the supporting run, provided by Jackie McNamara. Terrific finish there from the midfield player. And again, getting back to what I said about Neil Lennon, with Neil Lennon in the team, both McNamara and Thompson know they can go forward, know they've got a bit of security behind them. And Jackie McNamara gets his award there, and it's a long, long way back for Stranraer now.
They will, of course, point to the fact that they were down to 10 men at the time, with Keith Knox off the field getting treatment, and gaps exploited by Celtic. And a tough task for Stranraer has become even more gruelling now. George away towards Jenkins, the youngster. Whilst all this is going on, they're bandaging Keith Knox. We'll get the Terry Butcher look and be back on shortly. Marshall behind for a goal kick. Knox is ready to resume, but whilst he was off, Celtic doubled their lead. And ironically, that's exactly what happened when they met in 1988 at Celtic Park. He was off the field getting treatment when Frank McAvenny scored the game's only goal. Boyd's free kick, aimed towards Chris Sutton, jostling with Knox. Lennon. Valgaeren. Comes out by Harty. Here is Knox, who if he ever plays against Celtic again will never ever go off and get treatment. stage now. And isn't that strange that it should happen twice to him? He cut ties against Celtic, off the field getting treatment. Then they go and score. At least he can spend his life saying, if I'd been on, they wouldn't have done it. Valgaeren. Celtic looking good for a place in the fourth round draw, which you can see right here from Stair Park after this match. Henrik Larsson and Alan Thompson. It's not away yet. Sutton, Agathe, McNamara, and Sutton in there. Oh, it's a ricochet which favoured Stranraer, although they haven't cleared it particularly well. Paul Blair, excuse me, can you mind our camera? Expensive things there. Lennon. Thompson. Paul Blair got the better of Petta. Petta came back though. And it's come off Blair. Thompson. Sutton. One of those little layoffs again for Henrik Larsson. He can't get a glimpse of goal. Bobby Petta did though. Oh, it's an own goal from Knox. Oh, it gets even worse for him. What a shame for Keith Knox. Celtic 3-0 up.
To be fair, he's under real pressure. It's a marvellous ball in from Bobby Petta. All started by Chris Sutton. Had the body strength to win it, but that's a great ball in from Petta. And when goal defenders are running towards their own goal, that's always liable to happen. Good early ball in from Petta.
Well, he now wishes he never came back on. Celtic have now scored 94 goals this season. Billy McLaren's Stranraer on the receiving end of 3 of them. An OG from Keith Knox, making it more comfortable for Celtic. They have put in a professional performance, but then you expect nothing else, really. Jenkins, Stranraer tried to respond, but it's going to be asking a lot of them now. They are part-timers as well, remember. Their limbs could get a little weary as the game goes on. Here's Ian Harty. And he's got a corner. Harty is actually a Celtic fan, their top scorer this season. He scored in the last round from the penalty spot against Dumbarton. It's only the second corner Stranraer have managed, and it'll be taken for them by Paul Blair. Blair's corner and a Harty on the end of it, but it ends up in amongst the Celtic fans and the trees behind that goal.
Yeah, found a lot of room though, Ian. Joos Valgaeren not amused at the room he found there as the corner came in. And I think you're right, Celtic have gone about their business properly tonight. Right from the first whistle, played at a good tempo, quite happy to stand up to the physical challenge. And I think he'll be glad to get this game under his belt, Martin O'Neill, with 2 crucial league games coming up.
Here's Paul Walker though, and in a game that is always full of if-onlys, if only he'd scored early on when he was straight through for Stranraer. George's cross. Away by Petta. Sutton and Knox both going for it. Knox got there first. McDonald. Hodge. Johnston. Valgaeren's header was a little wayward, in fact. And Harty's centre, well, it needed something better than that because Douglas was able to smother. Thompson seeking out Petta, who I think is about to be replaced. Petta's cross comes off Keith Knox's head. Don't think he'll want too much to come off his head in the remaining half hour. Celtic are going to bring on Paul Lambert and Lubo Moravcik shortly, but they have this corner to take first. And Mark McGeown with a confident catch, but an easy one too. Tom Boyd read it. Lennon, nearly put Larsson away, but Fraser Wright's head stopped it getting to him. Larsson and Didier Agathe trying to get in, and Dougie Johnston had to turn it behind for a corner. He's a maths teacher in a secondary school, shows you the sort of night it is for these lads. But it's proved to be ultimately a tough night for them. They'll have basked in the glory for a while, but Celtic have ruthlessly moved in for the kill. Petta's cross away by Knox. Keith Knox. Well, this is some charge from Knox. Cut out by Boyd though. He was steaming away then for a 36-year-old, not bad. Celtic still not making those changes yet. Paul Walker. He's done well. But Didier Agathe is there. Oh, and Sandy Hodge almost got a sniff.
That's a great ball in there from Paul Walker. Did well to hit the byline. Good early ball. Just struggling to get bodies forward into the right areas though, Stranraer.
Celtic are in a very comfortable position to such an extent that when they get around to it, they're going to take off Henrik Larsson and Bobby Petta and bring on Lubo Moravcik and Paul Lambert. Larsson rested with some big games ahead for Celtic. He comes off and on comes Lubo Moravcik, who scored an own goal a year ago against Inverness Cali Thistle. Different story for him in this year's third round. And the other change is going to see Bobby Petta make way. And what a welcome sight this is for Celtic fans, the return of Paul Lambert after almost 3 months out following an ankle op.
Yeah, it'll just be interesting to see where he plays in, whether he plays central and Neil Lennon goes left. Certainly Alan Thompson's going to play out tonight on the left touchline now. Straight swap for Bobby Petta there. Lubo Moravcik's going to play up front with Chris Sutton. And indeed, Neil Lennon has taken a shift to the left. Paul Lambert will play in his familiar holding role in the central area there.
Stranraer hoping they will have something to show for their efforts this afternoon, or this evening. Johan Mjalby about to join the action too. He's been suffering from a groin problem which has required injections to allow him to keep playing. He'll be on for Valgaeren shortly. Celtic able to rest some of their big names. Next in league action, first league game after the winter break on Wednesday night at St Johnston, and we'll be there with them. Sky box office. Celtic, runaway leaders of the Scottish Premier League. They're in the semi-finals of the League Cup, where they meet Rangers shortly, and they are progressing nicely in the Tennent's Scottish Cup. The draw for the next round coming up when the action is over here at Stair Park. Here's Lubo Moravcik, and he's slipped it through for McNamara, and what a save from McGeown.
That's a terrific stop by Mark McGeown. Once again, Jackie McNamara prepared to go beyond his front two, not picked up, and it was more than a decent chance. Good save though from Mark McGeown. Good reverse ball by Moravcik to pick him out in the first place.
Vega. Moravcik putting himself about. Now, what's Stranraer do here? Offside. Flag is up against Paul Walker, but it didn't really matter because Douglas raced out anyway. Walker is the man who watched the third round draw sitting in his Celtic shirt at home, and the man who had a great chance to score against his heroes early on. Walker. Here's Paul Lambert. Didier Agathe. Moravcik. Walker. That's Valgaeren. Goes with him. Brilliant by the big Belgian, but he's about to be replaced now. Just to rest him, I dare say. And Valgaeren, who scored Celtic's first goal, is going to come off with Johan Mjällby coming on.
Yeah, I think it makes sense. The hard work's been done here. It makes sense to protect your players. We saw Rangers pick up two unwanted injuries yesterday, Ronald de Boer and George Alberts, and Martin O'Neill really wants to leave Stranraer unscathed here.
Here's Party, who's done very well here, couldn't quite put it back though. Johnston's header, Jenkins, George, Walker, Lambert didn't really get much on it, and Jenkins battling away, but Mjällby makes his first contribution. Knox offside against Party.
Must have been tight there. Well played there, well, very, very tight.
Stranraer have promotion on their minds as they seek a place in the First Division. They're a club that live within their means though, and certainly they have been financially boosted considerably by drawing Celtic in the Cup. Celtic heading for a 7th straight victory. They have now scored 21 goals in their last 5 matches without conceding any. Pretty ominous. And they're looking for more. Lennon into the path of Tom Boyd. Thompson. Lambert. Agathe. McNamara, scorer of the second and the goal of the game. Here's Boyd. Thompson. Knox slides in. Lambert. Moravcik. Free kick, but it's all too easy now for Celtic. Thompson takes the free kick, and Neil Lennon's looping header won't really trouble Mark McGeown. He finds Paul Blair. Knox on hand. Harty. Thompson. McNamara to Lennon. Celtic spraying the ball around.
Yeah, I think the game's starting to stretch as well, Ian. Celtic finding a bit more space now, a bit more time, and that's when the quality will tell.
It's Lubo Moravcik. Sutton waiting in the middle for the pullback. Doesn't quite reach him though. Didier Agathe not giving up yet. Sutton. Agathe. Agathe. Got his cross in, but it flashed away from Sutton. It's going to be retrieved though by Alan Thompson. In it goes again. Sutton looking again on the end of it this time, but it's away by Johnston. And McNamara on the volley. Not quite as good as the strike which brought him his goal. Stranraer are going to bring on Tommy Bryce, who was 41 yesterday. Big Celtic fan, former player manager of Partick Thistle. He's taking the place of Alan Jenkins, who is just a little bit younger, at 19. Tommy Bryce comes on to get a taste of the action. May not be going Stranraer's way, but the players will be able to talk about this night for a long, long time. All part-timers, most of them holding down jobs, given a chance to have a crack at Celtic. Any Celtic fans watching will probably be wondering who will await them in the next round. The draw for that coming up, remember. Also coming up this week, lots and lots of football from Scotland. Next up on Sky Sports 1 from 7 on Tuesday, it's Kilmarnock and Hibernian, two teams who have done themselves proud this season, keeping up with the old firm. Can Hibs keep up their championship challenge? Kilmarnock won't make it too easy for them, that's for sure. Both those two will be in that draw, having progressed yesterday. Kilmarnock edge past Partick, Hibs rather more convincing winners over Clyde. Celtic untroubled now, 3-0 up. And not terribly troubled throughout the evening, although Stranraer did have one or two moments. Foul by Thompson on Knox.
The head injury doesn't seem to have affected him anyway. He prepared to step off the back there again, Keith Knox.
Well, he'll be back delivering letters in the morning. The postman. Might wake up with a headache, mind you.
Yeah, I suspect he might need a trip to the hospital first team for there's certainly a few stitches put in it.
Agathe. Lambert. Lennon. It's gone the wrong side of Sutton.
I think that's the first pass of Neil Lennon's tonight that hasn't hit its target. Had another terrific evening.
Mjällby, who wasn't in Martin O'Neill's team at the start of the season, but forced his way into contention. A good example to others. Vega, Moravcik comes to meet it. The race is on between McNamara and Fraser Wright. Goal kick. Martin O'Neill's Celtic have done what they had to do here. Billy McLaren, well, he'll go back to concentrating on the possibility of promotion.
Yeah, I think I'll be hoping the roof doesn't fall in here in the last 15 minutes as well, Ian, because they're going well in the league, and the last thing I want is a real drubbing tonight that might affect the confidence.
Ominously onwards in their pursuit of silverware this season, but there'll be no talk of a treble until it happens, and there are one or two teams around determined to make sure that it doesn't happen. Johan Mjällby, Ramon Vega, McNamara. Agathe is hugging the touchline. Stranraer haven't really got an answer to all this. Agathe. Paul Lambert in plenty of space. Exchanging passes with Thompson. Here's Boyd. Moravcik. Lambert. Vega. Thompson seeking out Lubo Moravcik. Effortlessly brought under control. And Boyd joining the attack. Paul Blair steps in though. Johnston up to Harty. Mjällby keeping a check on this. And he lets it go. Miss kick, benefiting Stranraer, but Walker and Harty still with plenty to do. Blair, Knox, Fraser Wright. He's on a bit of a run, but going nowhere ultimately. And it's the first time I've been at a ground where they're announcing what time the ferries go over the public address. Celtic with no need to leave the country quickly and be on that ferry. They have negotiated this tight. It's a free kick which will be taken by Ramon Vega. Lennon. Moravcik. Moravcik up towards Sutton. McNamara well forward as well, but here's McDonald. Moravcik, who will have fonder memories of the third round this season as opposed to last season when he prodded one in his own net against Inverness County Thistle. Lambert Clearance from George goes straight, from Hodge rather, goes straight to Agathe. McNamara, Thompson, Moravcik. And he scuffed his cross, it's a goal kick, and in truth it's kind of petering out.
Well, the first goal was always going to be important tonight, Ian. Good ball in by Lennon, and the two centre-backs combining so well there to make it count. The second, Jackie McNamara, who I think looks a more productive player, playing one in from the touchline, gets his reward there. And a good ball in from Bobby Petta there that put Keith Knox under all sorts of pressure. And as you said earlier, it's been a good professional performance from Celtic tonight.
Martin O'Neill's men have dominated at Stair Park, and there was never really any sense of an upset on the cards here. Mialbi. Lennon. Celtic will finally going a little tougher on Wednesday night when they resume their championship challenge at St Johnstone. During their winter break in Florida, they did play one or two games. And I know that certainly Ramon Vega, the new arrival, was absolutely amazed at the number of Celtic fans that turned up in Florida to watch them have a kickabout. Thousands. One of the biggest clubs in the world. Didier Agathe. Oh, his turn of pace will get him going here. Sutton waiting for the pullback. Blocked by Didier Johnston. Thompson. Lambert. Lennon, who is going to make it 6 wins out of 6 in a Celtic shirt. Celtic just keeping the ball and seeing this one out. Stranraer are going to have to fight hard and battle hard for their consolation, but hang on a moment, because here goes Paul Walker. Next up for them, it's a trip to Stenhouse Muir. It'll be a bit different to tonight. The spotlight has been on them. They haven't been able to test Robert Douglas much and to genuinely trouble Celtic, but they are not alone in not being able to do that this season, not by any stretch.
I think they started brightly enough, Ian, but you have to say that Celtic's attitude has been spot on. I think that was always going to be the key to this game. If Celtic had been complacent at all or slack, they might have been in trouble, but you know, they've started at a good tempo. Celtic got a grip of the game early, and from that first goal they've always been well in control.
And Thompson, oh, he got a bit too casual, and Harty, and they've got a goal! Ian Harty, and Stair Park erupts in delight. They've scored against the league leaders.
Well, you wouldn't grudge them, or would you? I just mentioned complacency there and slackness, Ian, and that is what this is down to. Alan Thompson just dwelling in the ball, wanting too much time. And what a good finish there. And he'll remember that for a long time. Ian Harty.
so when you consider that it's the first goal in 5 games that Celtic have conceded. Knowing Martin O'Neill, they'll probably give Thompson a right rollicking as well.
Rob Douglas certainly will. You know, like goalkeepers after clean sheets.
Yes, that has ended Celtic's run of clean sheets. And whilst consolation goals are sometimes scant consolation in football, perhaps not for Stranraer, because that'll be a lasting memory for them. Of course, they've still got 6 minutes to get another couple. Here's Walker, and he's got away here. Maybe we're writing them off too soon. The flag is up though, and it'll come to nothing.
Well, to be fair to Alan Thompson, there wasn't a great deal on here, but probably been wiser just kicking it into touch there. Ends up being caught in possession. But over the piece, Celtic's attitude has been good tonight.
For Blair, Thompson welling it all the way upfield. Ramon Vega. Ooh, Johnston was okay in the end. Celtic looking for another now though. Paul Lambert. Put out by Tommy Bryce, the sub. 41-year-old, and here he is again. Oh, Moravcik could be in here. He's on his own, although Lennon is arriving. Moravcik goes for goal himself. Oh, and it's squeezed past Mark McGeown and in. And Celtic have a fourth through Lubo Moravcik.
Yeah, well, I mean, he can take it on either side. He's so good with either foot. Quite happy to go onto his left side here. And Mark McGeown won't be happy with that. He said a good night, the Stranraer keeper. Get something on this, get something of his right hand onto it, but just not enough.
9th of the season for Moravcik, and one to forget for Mark McGeown. Although he'll remember this night with good feelings generally. He's performed well, despite that one squirming through. Well, at least Stranraer did manage to score a goal, and Ian Harty will be telling the story for a long time because he's a big Celtic fan, their top scorer this season with 14. Boyd. Sutton. Thompson. Right header, but it's going to go straight back to Robert Douglas. Boyd's header. Johnston. Your man of the match tonight, Davey?
Well, I think Ramon Vega had another excellent game for Celtic, and it was his aerial ability that put Celtic in the driving seat. But I think the most influential player on the pitch has been Neil Lennon, and doesn't do a lot of the showy stuff, but no less effective for that. Once again, hardly put a foot wrong tonight. Just about every pass has hit its target, and he really has linked back to front ever so well tonight. He's my tennis man of the match.
Walker. And he's got it back here. Walker and Tommy Bryce. Well, it's cannoned off Vega and gone behind for a corner, but Tommy Bryce nearly got a goal.
That's a good block by Vega. I'll tell you what, if this goes in, it's game on for the last couple of minutes.
Hodges corner. And Douglas, he's flapped at that. Not for the first time this season, he didn't look very confident from a corner. 2 minutes of added on time. 1 minute of normal time left, and Celtic looking to break here with Lubo Moravcik. He'll try and put Didier Agathe in. McDonald tracking him. He's a difficult character to contend with, Billy McDonald. Here's Knox. Mialbi let it drop, and Douglas will come and collect. Fraser Wright misjudged it, and Lubo Moravcik is going for goal again, but that's one. That's gone onto the ferry, I think.
Just one thing in his mind here, to get the run at Dougie Johnson, create a bit of room and try and get the shot on target. May have taken a bobble there. He won't be too bothered at all. He's already on the score sheet.
Into injury time. And Celtic into the fourth round draw for the Tennent's Scottish Cup, which is coming up right here on Sky Sports very shortly. Stranraer will remember the night that Celtic came to town, but it's the Giants of Glasgow who will be joining a few more of Scottish football's biggest clubs in that draw. Price for Walker, and just clipped out by Johan Mialbi. Celtic heading for their 27th win in 34 games this season. Paul Blair's centre. Duncan George was blocked by the considerable frame of Mialbi. Sutton. It's all over. A plucky effort from Stranraer, but Martin O'Neill and Celtic overcame this hurdle with a highly professional performance. Jackie McNamara with the goal of the game. Stranraer gave it a go and managed to score themselves through Celtic fan Ian Harty, but not many can stop Martin O'Neill and Celtic at the moment. And it really would have been asking a lot for the part-timers, the men of Stranraer. But all in all, a memorable evening for them. It's Celtic, though, who will be watching that fourth round draw with interest shortly. It took Celtic a while to get going. Stranraer were having a pretty good spell, but Ramon Vega rose, and Joos Valgaeren decided that was definitely worth a smack in the face. Henrik Larsson tucked that one through to Jackie McNamara. Fine finish from him. And then an agonising own goal from Keith Knox, who'd been off the field getting treatment when McNamara scored. He then put into his own net. Alan Thompson got a little too casual for his own good, allowing Harty to score the goal that he'll remember all of his life. But Celtic had more to come as well when Lubo Moravcik's effort squirmed underneath Mark McGeown. Stair Park, perhaps the first step on the stairway to Hampden for Celtic. Comfortable winners here.